Hi, my name is Madonna Codi and I'm here with Moocah and we're going to paint our lovely winter wonderland. So let's get familiar with the materials that we're going to use, shall we? First thing we're going to use is, of course, a canvas. Something that's either palette material or something cardboard like this one, something easy to hold and contain the paint. You'll need a table to place your items upon and maybe a little tarp to lay down so that way you won't possibly mess up the floor or anything. Some clothing that you really don't care about. I like my shirt, but you make sure that you have on some clothing that you really don't care about, that way in case you get paint on it. A paint plate, something just to mix the colors up and get everything nice and spread out. A cup for your brushes containing water, of course. You'll need about 3 to 4 brushes. First brush is going to be the big brush. It's going to cover up a lot of area. This one I like to call the daddy brush. This one is going to be used to make the vast majority of the larger items and to cover the background in your canvas. Now, the next brush is going to be a rounded tip brush. I like to call this one the mama brush. And we're going to use this to make the nice little snowman and to help make the rounded and more symmetrical things. And the next brush, which is going to be the baby brush. Now the fourth brush is pretty much the same variation of the mama brush, but just a little bit smaller just in case you want to scale down some things. So with the baby brush, you're going to use this for the tiny details such as the little candy canes and the little tiny bits of snow, and also the snow that's going up around the moon. So lastly, the color. So you'll need some paint, preferably all acrylic or all oil, all watercolor. You definitely want to stick with the same medium because you don't want to run into any snafus, like say for instance mixing the oil with the acrylic and they mix and then it won't dry in time. So make sure to stick with one type of medium. So the colors we have are white, black, blue, yellow, red of course, and lastly brown. But I'm going to also show you how to mix the colors and make some different things as well. And of course you'll need a napkin. Now let's pour out our colors and make sure that you pour out a little bit, not too much, just enough to get you started. Maybe like a quarter size amount. Nothing too big because acrylic paint does dry out very, very fast. So less is more. Excuse my paint, it's a bit stubborn. And make sure that just in case if you need some extra colors, you can always put that out later. Now, first thing we're going to do, just in case your brushes weren't in the cup, you're going to dip them in the cup, give them a nice swirl to make sure they're nice and wet. If the brush is dripping, just simply dab it off onto your napkin. Make sure that you at least have about 2 napkins, so that way as you're painting, you can just catch the drips as we go. Now, I'm going to apply our base color, and that's going to be white. So we're going to take some white, and then we're going to take a tiny touch of blue, just a little bit. I'm going to tap that together, and this is going to be our middle mixing color. You're just going to go across just like so. Now, as you're progressing upward, you're going to grab more and more blue because it's a winter wonderland. You want it to progress and get darker and more rich and full. And as you proceed up, you're going to pretty much almost just be using just blue by itself. And you want to make sure you move kind of fast because acrylic paint is like nacho cheese. Once you heat it up, it instantly begins to harden after it cools. So as this dries, it's going to kind of make like this clear, glassy, almost plastic finish. Now remember, as we're progressing, we're just going to use just the blue without cleaning your brush. Fight the impulse to clean your brush. You're going to dirty stroke your canvas. Utilize the paint that's on the brush. Now that we've gotten to this particular part, we're going to now incorporate just a tiny touch of black. Not too much, just a tiny touch, because black is very dominant, very powerful, and if you use just the right amount, you can either take over or blend in seamlessly. So you choose how you would like to make your winter wonderland look. Now me, I love to make it more night driven at the top because that makes it look really good where the moon's gonna be. So once you hit the black, now we clean our brush. And then we're going to work backwards from that blue that's still wet. And now we're going to start to add some white. So carefully make sure you get it nice and smooth and kind of blend it up just a little bit first, making it nice and smooth. Then once you make that seamless, clean it again. Give it a nice scrub about. And then you're going to dip your brush into the dirty portion of your white. So as you can see, we have a little swirl here with the blue and the white. We're just going to lightly grab that, and then we're going to place that right here at the bottom. And it should have a little cast of blue, ever so slightly. The blue gives it a nice clean finish. Whereas if you were to add yellow, it will make your snow kind of look a little tainted. So stick with the blue. Make sure to be very careful and add paint to the entirety of your canvas. Now as for this other little quadrant, as we can see in the original, we have another little hump. We're going to take the light blue that's not so white, and we're going to start from a promontory point and stroke over. And that's going to be like the back hills with the snow. And just kind of add that in. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we can always take our brush and tighten it up by just lining it just like so, stroking outward. Nice long strokes, no short ones, just like that. And then after that, take your brush and clean it. Now, make sure you clean it really good, because we're going to transition and we're going to start to add some of our snow. So we're going to make that with our mama brush. So clean it really good. Then we're going to move over to our mama brush, make sure that it's wet, and then you're going to tap it off. And then we're going to dab it off onto our napkin. Now, I'm going to take that, dip that into a little bit of that dirty white. Going to dip some water, pull that to the side, just like so, just a little bit. You're going to get it very milky. It should look like blue milk. Then after that, you're going to take your brush. You're going to stand in front of your canvas. You're going to lightly thump. Ever so slightly. Thump it ever so slightly. Make sure to aim it towards the canvas, because if not, it's going to be everywhere. And just dip again if you need to make some more. The key thing is you want it to look like a snowburst. Now, even if this is not effective for you, and your parents might be like, no, you could either do this, or I can show you a better way. You could take your baby brush, and we're going to utilize the butt of our baby brush, not the bristles, but the butt. You're going to take that and just simply stab. Simple. Keeps the house clean. Keeps your painting cool. Now also, make sure that while you're adding your stars, you can either continue to tap and it'll make it smaller and smaller, or you just dip back and forth and keep them all the consistent size. But since it's snow, you want that to be pretty much kind of everywhere. Then we're going to take a little second to kind of tap this on. A little stabby noise should kind of soothe the day, just in case you had a little angst or anxiety. You could just take it out of your canvas. Be creative. If you want to make a little smiley face in the sky, you can do that. It's all about what you want to do with your work. All right, we're going to add just a couple more. And I'm going to dip back into my dirty white, kind of add some down here, because it is snow. Snow does fall. If snow was just in the sky, then that's pretty much ice stars. I would kind of be a little scared. So yeah, we're just going to add that down, just like so. Now, once you're done, clean the butt of your brush. Make sure not to just leave it dirty, because if you leave it dirty, touch your hand, then you touch something else, might get paint everywhere. So make sure to clean the butt. Now, we're going to move into making the trees. One of my favorite parts, next to the snowman, of course. So we're going to take our brush, and you're going to make sure that when you press it on the napkin, press it down nice and flat, just like so. We're going to utilize the brush to make the trees. So I'm going to show you two different ways to make the trees. One is going to be with a flat brush. And just in case if you don't have a flat brush, you just have round brushes, I'll show you with that one too. So, as you can see, we have red, yellow, blue. We used to have white and black. So we're going to have to mix the colors. So blue and yellow, stir that together. That makes green. So you're going to take that and going to mix that together. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tappity, tap. And we're going to go for a nice forest green. So we're going to take that, add more blue than yellow, and we're going to lightly touch just a tiny winter black and just tap that right in. Now, once you get that on your brush, you're going to take your brush, look at the original. As you can see, we have a nice big tree and a medium tree. So we're going to start off with the medium tree, of course. Now you're just going to lay your brush flat and just going to lightly tap. Now, this is the baseline for our tree. So that means we have to progress upward to make it look like a triangle. So I'm going to show you a cheat to make this look like the perfect triangle. So you're going to aim for the middle, and you're just going to tap up the middle just like so, as far as you can. Then you're going to take your brush and you're going to kind of make a little star-like shape. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Left and right. Just like that. Now, once you get that kind of like holly branch, almost looks like a little chicken foot, then you're going to take that and you're going to tap across. Kind of like a little typewriter. Wait, I just told my age. It's an old texting mechanism we used to use back in the day. Ask your parents what typewriter is. But we're just going to move back and forth, kind of like an agitating motion. And you're just going to lightly tap left, right. But as you go up higher, you're going to narrow it off. So that way, it looks more like a tree and not like a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to add that in. Now, as you're dipping into your color, we didn't fully mix our green. We just kind of roughed it up by tapping it. So what we're going to do is go back into the rough part of the color that's not really mixed, that has the nice little chunks of yellow and black. And we're going to go back and forth in between the two to give it dimension. Just like so. Now, as you go up, it's going to blend. So you can always just go back, dip a little more, a little less. It's all up to you. Remember, this is your canvas, your fun. Be creative. Now, next thing we're going to do is going to be our next tree. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the rounded tip brush. So, here's our rounded tip brush. First thing we're going to do is dip that into our color. We're going to get that nice and mixed. Now this one has a different shape, so we're going to have to work different. So, we're going to start off with a rounded tip brush. We're going to load it with our paint. We're going to start off our baseline, and we're just going to lightly tap that across. Just like that. Now, in the same manner that we did the little tree, we're going to do the big tree as well. So we're going to tap that up through the middle, just like so. Now, with the same agitating motion or typewriter motion, just ask your parents. Gonna go back and forth, just like that. Now make sure as you go upward, try not to go further than the next one. You're gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller. And you're gonna dip back in between the colors. So you don't want to have a solid mix. You want to just kind of dip some, tap some here, tap some there. Gonna bring that out and just kind of go in between those colors, just like that. It doesn't have to all be green. You can have a lime green tree. You can have a white tree. Heck, it's your tree. Have fun with that. And just lightly bring some of the little pieces out to make it look more like a tree and not like a pile of leaves attacking you. Make sure to add the highlight, of course, which is going to be with the lighter color, which is just the green with a little splooshes of yellow. Now make sure to fill up through the middle, because if not, then it'll make your tree look sparse. So you want to make that full in the middle, a little thinner on the sides, full in the middle, a little thinner on the sides. Now since this is a Christmas tree, you don't want to add too much yellow. Just a little bit for highlight. And then the next thing that we're going to add is going to be the snow to the tree. Because it'll be kind of weird, you know, winter wonderland with no snow on your trees. So let's add that snow, shall we? Now make sure to clean all the green out of your brush. Because if not, it'll mix with the white and it'll make like a lime green. So make sure you clean your brush really good. And we're going to add some more white to our palette. And I'm going to migrate down to my smaller variation of the mama brush. So that way we get those nice little nooks. I'm going to take that, dip that into the white paint. Just bit by bit. And you're going to tap that just lightly in some designated areas. Just like so. Now you don't want to overdo it because then it won't have that little snow cap effect. You want it to look like you're in a winter wonderland and a deer walked by and just lightly brushed the tree and then the snow fell off. Or you could just cover it with snow. It's your tree. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with the flat brush, of course, which is our daddy brush. Make sure you clean that really good. Press all the water out. I'm just going to dip that into that white, just the tips, of course. And you're just going to lightly agitate that back and forth, just to give it a little bit of white. And don't forget to do the tops. Tops of the tree have snow too. And now